word we, meaning Thea and I, or those of us who care about the center. Which of these is obvious in context?
Mike.
I often use the word gay to cover all the LGBTQ persons. Tonight, I'll talk about myself, only to show how my progressively coming out paralleled the growth of the center. In about 1982, Thea and I received a flyer headed something like, Margaret Whiting invites you to a party to talk about a gay community center. Whiting was not gay, but she was a gay icon at the time, and that is her name. At the party, someone with a movie camera interviewing the attendees asked Thea, then newly in a wheelchair, what she would want from a gay community center. I remember her reply was, throughout my adolescence, I wished for a gay drop-in place, like a coffee shop where everyone was gay. As some of you may have seen the plaque downstairs, that the coffee shop is dedicated to me and Thea. Okay, the thing is that there were a few years after Thea's quote that I had worked full-time for weeks on the auction project to raise money for the new women's Sunday coffee shop. Thea would love this. Okay. We needed to raise $50,000 as earnest money to entice the city to sell us this old building. And we were asking the assembled party for $1,000 each as a gift or as a one-year loan without interest. I did the latter because I had no fixed income by then and no idea that Thea would be able to go on working. A year later, the center returned my loan with a check that said Gay and Lesbian Community Services Center, and I gave it back rather than come out and I drove it back. Instead of only 50 affluent people, we had more than 100 people with contributions ranging from $3 up. Years later, when Janet Weinberg mentioned that the list had been lost, I said, I think I have it. I had been working with a computer and had stored backup files in my desk at home. Janet organized the celebration of us with a plaque listing all our names. We had a computer and a computer committee who had done a great job setting us up, but there were bugs in the commercial software available at the time. I was called in and counted the bugs, took a list to my PC users group meeting where someone slid over a table of self-published book that 20 killer bugs in DBase and the works around them. So I fixed the code, right? I coded special versions which could select, say, women only, prior donors, selected information for various special event admission desks. I still have letters from everyone involved in the center thanking me. During 1985, we hired our first executive director. In May of '85, we prepared for the center's first women's dance. 300 attendees in this building, covering the walls of the first floor with floor-to-ceiling cardboard flowers. In this video, there's a picture of me hanging one in the entrance, and I found more pictures, one with Evelyn Coughlin. I think she's here. Okay. She was on the board at the time, holding a ladder for someone hanging the giant flowers. I was decidedly on the dance committee. There was another dance in the limelight. We had a pre-party at Thea's in my apartment where everyone brought their address books and addressed invitations. My memory is that 1,000 women showed up at the dance. I suspect that's a great, exaggeration. But it was the first time that Thea and I danced with a wheelchair, and the song was the disco version of If My Friends Could See Me Now. And later in '85, we built the sets in the old school kitchen here for the lesbian show, Taking Liberties, to be shown in Symphony Space. As one of 2 assistant stage managers and the only member of the 125-person theater group old enough to be retired and not have to go to work, okay, I was liaison to the prop building here at the center while managing small group music rehearsals wherever we found the piano. And that was the beginning of my coming out. I was totally retired, not just from IBM, but from my small PC business. When the market died in 1987, I went back to IBM as a senior applications programmer for 2 years. I participated in Joyce Warshaw's filming of lesbian activists at midlife and told my IBM colleague about it. She asked, is that wise? And I remember my reply was, maybe not, but it's necessary. Thea and I attended every annual center garden party and annual women's formal dance until we were physically unable. Later, typical of the center, allowing for a more diverse population, the center split the expense into two, and it remains that way. You can come for the dessert and dancing only at a much lower price. Then in 1996, I had my first heart attack and cardiac bypass surgery. So we stopped Thea's gifting me because it suddenly occurred to us that I might die first. So we skipped the dancing for a couple of months. And still we lived joyously, deeply in love with each other. In 2007, given a bad prognosis for Thea, we decided not to wait for New York and went to Canada to be married. And you guys know the rest, okay? With more than 250 attendees was held here in the center and was a beautiful celebration of her life. I decided to sue the government. You all know about that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thank
you. And we won in this district court, won in the Supreme Court, learned that the Supreme Court would take the case. I have to say, we had to go to D.C. We couldn't get the justices to move the oral arguments to the city. However, when it came to the decision week, okay, there were actually 8 possible decision days in that June. And we were supposed to go to Washington to be in the court whenever, okay, we found out. My legal team plan was to be in D.C. I was told that the center was readying itself as a backup. I decided it was too much for me to travel and for 4 possible weeks, and I said I'd meet with the center and ask that they set me up to participate via TV with a decision when it actually came in. Anyhow, the entire team decided to stay in New York, and we arranged to do the press release on decision day at this center, which is what we did. So my love affair with the LGBT community started here in what was a ramshackle building, which also housed SAGE's first office and still provides some SAGE meeting rooms because some of our owners can't give up the center. And the Calvin Lord Medical Center had it start at the head of that wide staircase up to the 2nd floor of the center, a single room with all volunteer doctors as well as most of the staff. The already once renovated center 30 years ago began relief from the bars as the only place for most of us to meet people, and flourished and continues to grow and flourish with support and activities and camaraderie that celebrates who we are and who we love. Pick up a center this day if you're not aware of all of it on your way out to see the wide breadth of this center's offerings. It's the location of planned town meetings and of spontaneous ones. I can't count the number of days and evenings when I automatically headed here because something important to us, good or bad, was happening, and I didn't want to be alone with it. We headed here to break a habit, to cure an addiction, to register to vote, to rally, to find people like ourselves, to connect into the LGBT community and culture, etc. Okay, and just recently, I was debating where I was going to put all my archive stuff. And people talked about, okay, DC and some stuff in, okay, and all kinds of places. And Robert Woodward took me on a tour, okay, to what was happening with the center and in the archives. And my decision was, okay, clearly after that day, that's where all my stuff goes. Okay. About what happened starting with Stonewall with its kind of self-esteem that was happening. And the more self-esteem happened, the more of us came out, and and that just continued to move. So, but don't laugh at me. This gorgeous functional site is not only safe and functionally wonderful, but it's Its beauty breeds self-esteem, and we are worthy of it and very grateful for it.